Turn now to Virginia's primaries coming up in June. There are more than a few open congressional seats in the Commonwealth. District 10 is going to be open as Congresswoman Virginia Jennifer Wexton is resigning due to her own health issues. She has endorsed Democratic candidate Suhan Subramanyam. Now, he is a state senator from Loudoun County, and he is kind enough to join us live here in studio this morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
The fact that Jennifer Wexton was resigning came to a shock of a lot of people. She's endorsed you in this race. The 10th district has been one that has been focused on the last couple of years because there was a lot of people who have moved into the district who lean Republican, but yet a Democrat has held it of late. How do you view, what is, in your mind, the 10th district?
The 10th district is one of the most diverse, most dynamic places in the country. Loudoun County, Prince William County, even Rappahannock and Fauquier and the parts of Fairfax. It's so amazing to see all the cultures and all the different people that have moved in there.
But we've seen a lot of, battles in that county as well.
Sure.
You look at what's gone on in the school board meetings in Loudoun County last year. It's a clash of ideas. As somebody running for office, how do you see yourself representing a district like that has so many different and really at odds at times viewpoints on things?
You know, I see a lot of fighting, a lot of polarization in our politics, a lot of dysfunction, especially in Congress. And one of the reasons why I think Congresswoman Wexton endorsed me is because I've been able to rise above all of that. I've been able to just put my head down and get things done for a community. And so that's what I want to do, and that's how I want to lead.
Now, obviously, right now, the Republicans are in the majority in the House of Representatives, but only by a razor-thin margin. Your district is one that you're running in that Democrats nationally are looking that will decide whether or not control of that body flips. What are your key issues if you were able to be elected not only past this primary but into the general?
Yeah, you know, I've always taken on the toughest fights as a state senator, and I see dysfunction in Congress, and that dysfunction usually has an impact on our community. We have a lot of federal workers here. We have a lot of people who are government contractors. When there's the threat of a shutdown, that hurts our community tremendously. I get calls from the food pantries. It's very personal to our community, and then I see the threats on our democracy as well, and that's going to be concerning for our future, my kids' future.
Dysfunction is also the result, though, of people either not listening to each other or not talking to each other or not working together. Are you somebody who would cross party lines and work with Republicans, or are you on the other side where you say, no, we need to resist everything that the other party is doing or about?
Yeah, well, I've always been principled, but I've also, what I care about most is just delivering for my community. When I was a state senator, I started a group that was dedicated to bipartisanship in Richmond, and I want to do the same thing in D.C., and I also want to make sure that we just deliver results for our community and stand up when there's bad things happening.
Where do you stand right now on the issue with Israel and Gaza?
Yeah, right now I want to see an end to the violence. I want to make sure that we have a long-term peace there. And I think in order to do that, one, Hamas can't be in charge anymore, and two, we just have to find a way to negotiate an end to the conflict.
Are you in favor of continued military aid to Israel?
Yes, I am. But I also want to make sure that long-term that we can find a two-state solution and that we can, have a peaceful pathway for people in Palestine, too, so they don't have to be concerned about violence in their community. One
of the big things we keep hearing from people when we talk to them at supermarkets is they don't feel that the economy is working in their favor right now. Yeah, sure, the financial reports come out and it's all good news on, the business reports. People aren't feeling it in their pocketbooks. How do you make a difference to make people feel like these data banks that keep coming up or spreading good news actually hits people in the pocketbook where they live?
Yeah, continue the work I did as a state senator. I mean, I took on utility companies that were overcharging customers, and I won. I took on, high taxes at the grocery store. I took on, really tough issues that were like toll roads in Northern Virginia, and I won. And I want to continue that work in Congress. Some of this is about, the markets and inflation. Some of this is also about the fact that there's policy failures that are allowing people to be overcharged. And so I want to see us fix those policy failures.
Well, you talked about tolls. Obviously, transportation is a huge issue, not only in the 10th Congressional District, regionally throughout the DMV. What could you do to make sure that our transportation network, and Metro in particular, which needs dedicated funding, and we've seen, warning signs from Metro itself that they were looking at some massive cuts if they weren't able to once again cobble together this money that they need. Is Metro funding on your high list of priorities?
Absolutely, just funding for infrastructure generally in our community.
Because it gets into into Loudoun County.
Absolutely, it's a big issue. I've got the Silver Line ending near my house, and one of the things that Jennifer Wexton did was she was on the Appropriations Committee. I want to be on one of those money committees too, and get more resources, federal resources, to Loudoun, Prince William, and the general Northern Virginia area. One
thing we're seeing is that there are a lot of the school districts are being told to do more. A lot of that more has to have some funding attached to it as well. What could we do as far as increasing federal funding to state and local school districts?
We have to prioritize it. I mean, there's so many things right now that you know, we're looking at, but schools need to be near the top of our list when it comes to what we're going to fund. And the state legislature, I prioritize school funding. We always did teacher pay raises. We also funded school construction. I want to continue that work in Congress.
Suhan Subramanyam, we appreciate you joining us live here on the Hill this Sunday morning, and we'll see you as the campaign goes along.
Thank you so much for having me.